Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Mia from the Evil Dead remake movie. So if you like to see what I do, just keep on watching. Okay, so I am going to be using reference photos because this is an actual character from a movie and I want to make sure I get it as accurate as possible. This is the photo I'm going to be referencing right here. And if you didn't know what the character looks like, there you go. So yeah, I'm just going to dive right in. I already blocked out my eyebrows. And I'm just going to see where I'm going to start and then just start. Okay, I'm going to start out with the CC Beauty Cream Paint Palette, and I'm going to be taking this peachy shade right here. And I'm going to be taking a fluffy blending brush. And looking at reference photos, there is some skin irritation before all of the other like giant gaping wounds and blisters and stuff. So I'm going to just kind of like mark out those areas with the peach first. And then also I think I'm going to be putting some along my neck. This is hard because this is a photo that is, you know what, I'm going to reverse this photo real quick actually. Okay, now that I reversed the photo so I know which side to actually do it on, I'm going to start doing some slight skin irritation in some areas. Okay, and then I think before I do anything else paint-wise, I am going to do some liquid latex work. So I'm just going to be using some liquid latex, putting it in a bowl and using a Q-tip to apply where it looks like the blistered areas are, and also the big wound on the forehead. I'm going to probably pull my hair back in like a headband real quick and then get that ready. Okay, then once again, I'm looking at my reference photos and I'm going to apply the liquid latex where I need to.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Okay, now I'm going to allow that to fully dry, and then once I do, I'm going to be creating little tears and lifting up some edges. So I'll let that dry and then I'll be right back. Okay, I had to pull my hair back because I was afraid it was going to get stuck. But I am going to use the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Neutral. And I'm going to use that to remove the tackiness from the liquid latex. If you've never used liquid latex, do a patch test to see if you are allergic or have any adverse reactions to it before putting it all over your face like I did. And if you are allergic, there are alternatives like scar wax and silicone and gelatin. But the reason I put the powder on is because it removes this stickiness that for when I go to make lifts and holes, it doesn't like stick to itself, if that makes any sense. So with the top portion, I'm just going to peel it down. And then I'm going to make holes in these areas. I don't have a mirror that sits close enough for me to do this on camera. Well, this side I'm just going to lift up as well. Okay, what I did with this one on my side is I lifted straight up and pulled off a piece of the liquid latex, and it created a little hole. So I'm just going to be expanding that hole by tugging it all around in a circle. Can you see that? Kinda. And I'm going to do the same thing with my face.
Nails done. The girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Okay, then once I got all of that done, I'm going to start adding more color. So I'm going to be going in with the Wet n Wild Smoky Paint Palette. And I'm going to start off with this light gray shade right here. Okay, then I'm just taking that on a dry beauty blender. And I'm going to start to put it where the peach would be meeting the other skin.
Girls with their nails done.
Okay, then next I'm going to be going in with the dark gray shade. I'm going to be doing kind of like the same thing, just looking at my reference photo and seeing where the dark gray should be placed, and then putting it there.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Okay, so I left this one alone because it doesn't really seem like it has any gray or anything around it. But, so it's kind of like, you don't have to worry about it looking completely super blended or anything like that. And you can see how it's like actually clinging to the liquid latex right here, which is actually fine because I kind of mapped it out so where it would be the shape where the dark gray would be anyway. But yeah, you don't have to worry about it being super blended because it is supposed to be like, you know, more gross looking. but we're gonna go and do some finessing later. Let's see, what should I do now? I might work on my eyes now, actually. I think I want to work on my eyes and then start doing detail from there. So what I'm going to do is grab my eyeshadow because it's buried. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to start out with a red. And I'm going to go in with this one. This is Hot Tamale from Coastal Scents. I am going to use a blending brush. I'm just going to use this Luxie 229 tapered blending brush and dip that in there. And I'm going to use this to just kind of as a transition shade for all around my eye socket area. Just kind of look at reference photos so you kind of have an idea of where you want to lay it down. A lot of this is going to be covered up though, so no big deal. Okay, now that that's looking a little weird, I'm going to go into this shade, Bitten by Makeup Geek, which is this like dark, slightly red-toned brown. It doesn't really show up like burgundy or red at all when you apply it, at least this doesn't for me. I'm just using the same brush and I'm going to use that to kind of start to be like the transition between the red and the black. Okay, now you don't have to worry about that being sloppy either because it's meant to be kind of messy. Like a organized messy, if that makes any sense. But if you want to, you could touch up little bits, blend a little more. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the blackest black that I own, which is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette in the matte Aquarius shade. And then I'm going to use let's see, what brush do I want to use? I'm going to use a defining eyeshadow brush, which is the small, slightly angled, fluffy yet somewhat dense brush. And I'm going to use that to add in all the black areas around my eyes.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Okay, so it's not like 100% exact because it's actually supposed to be lighter right here on the inner tear duct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some foundation, I think, to attempt to fix that. And I'm going to take an angled brush and I'm just going to dip that into some foundation and kind of create lighter streaks in some areas here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just keep that foundation on the back of my hand right there. What I'm going to do now is go into that peach shade that I first used and that same brush that I used and stipple in the areas where it looks slightly irritated on the forehead and along the wounds.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
Now I think I'm going to go back into that darkest gray shade and deepen up some slight areas.
Nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Okay, then I'm going to use that foundation I still have going on to add a few highlights in some areas.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Now, starting for the base of my blisters, I'm going to use this yellow on all of them except for the one right here. I'm just going to use it as the main base, but I'm going to add color over it, so yeah. Then the first shade I'm going to use for the edges of the wounds is going to be this dark red shade from the Wet n Wild Smoky palette. I think I'm just going to use that same brush because why not? It's okay if it mixes a little with the yellow, at least I think so. Then I'm going to make sure I go all the way to the edge and then drag upward. Then with this little guy, I'm going to just be using a very small amount of that same red. Going more so like dragging it on top of the liquid latex. And then adding a little bit in. Actually, I think I'm just going to go in with this dark purple from this Smoky palette. I'm going to use a more precise brush. And right along the very edges, I'm going to add that. Yeah, okay, that was a better choice. I knew black wasn't probably going to be the best, so use this for the deepest parts of my shadows here.
Girls with their nails done now.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade Coconut Husk from Coastal Scents, and I'm going to use a stippling brush, which is like a dual fiber brush, and tap that on there. And then I'm going to drag this slightly in areas where it looks like she has like dirt on her face. Ooh. And I had a bunch of fallout on my nose, so I guess that kind of helped to make it look dirty. But just areas where I'm going to stipple like dirt and grime. And then for lips, I already have a bit of concealer on them, and then just kind of like rub out the center. But then the reference photo I showed you, this one right here, this does not have any of the black drippings. I have another reference photo that I want to show you what I'm talking about here. Let me see if I could find it. Okay, this one right here, where she's like slightly more glossy and slightly more, I don't know. I am going to be adding some more highlights, like, well, maybe, I don't know. I feel like this is, maybe it's not dark enough. I feel like I want this to be darker, so I might go in to darken up some of this area here, but then with the black dripping out of her mouth that you could see, I'm going to be doing that at the end, so I just wanted to make sure to note that. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like that's like surprisingly all of a sudden isn't looking proper. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep most of the color that is on here and then go back in that dark brown, because I don't care if it's slightly purple toned. It might actually work in my favor. And then deepen up some of these areas because I feel like they're too light.
Nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Okay, now she does have some blood smeared on her, which I want to do. I have two different bloods that I'm going to be using. One for the wounds, which is my Mayron Stage Blood in the shade Dark Venus. I'm going to do that after, though. I just bought this blood for a zombie, for my actual Halloween look. I'm going to be doing a zombie, and I bought this to dirty up a white shirt. This is from Walmart. This is just vampire blood. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a Q-tip and I'm just going to add, sorry, I'm crazy right now, some blood along this wound, a little on my neck area. I'm going to use a Q-tip for this. Really don't feel like it. My hand's all bloody right now. I'm just going to drag some of it around certain areas where it looks like there's some. I do believe this dries down, the other one does not. So that's why I wanted to use two different kinds. And then before I put it along here, I'm going to take that dark purple paint to use as a base so that it's dark underneath the blood. And then I'm going to take some black from my CC Beauty cream paint palette and add a little to some areas, more so on my lip area.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
Okay, now I think I'm going to throw on my wig, and yeah, that might be it. I might have to do some touching up if I want, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I hardcore struggled with this wig for some reason because it's so poofy, and I was trying to get it to lay down, and I know it's not like an exact representation of her hair, but this is the closest wig that I have. So yeah, I guess that's the final look. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already or if you want to, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!